Cool. Mm, mm, okay, cool.
There's that. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another OCS game. As always, I'm Dan Taglione. Joining me tonight is Justin Desai. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm trying to figure out if I win this game or not. I don't totally remember if I advance or not, so this will help me jog my already pretty shaky memory.
So this is going to be game two between you and Connor. You played game one a couple days ago. Refresh my memory. What you play on for your game one?
First game, I played Old Allies.
Okay.
Um, it was Old Allies versus Steel. It was a weird game. There was some very he was on my planet and I was on his planet. There was a lot going on,
Okay. And you
but
ended up.
I won by 17.
Yeah, I was going to say ended up winning that game by 17. So, again, you played light side for this one. So let's go into this game. This is your dark side versus his light side. Okay, so we got the game up right now, and here we go. Pressing play. Okay, so again, your dark side, and you went with Bring Him Before Me.
Yeah, I went with Brigham. I was up 17. I wanted something where sort of didn't want to get blown out. That
Mm-hmm.
was my big thing. Um, I don't know, man. I didn't want to get blown out. That was the thing. I sort of envisioned a couple of the other choices that I will probably not necessarily mention now because they're choices for round two, but I could sort of envision myself getting blown out with a bad matchup or a bad
Mm-hmm.
early thing. And with Brigham, I didn't really see I couldn't really see that happening. I played it at nationals and I lost two close games
Okay.
to bad matchup. And then the other thing is that I thought if I was needing to push damage, worst case scenario, I could just drain for two at one site and then duel,
Mm-hmm.
and make him lose five a turn. So even if I lost like board presence or something like that, I could still survive.
Okay. So, and were you putting him on? He's playing Quiet Minded Calling. Were you putting him on that at all?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't putting it on him, but I did. It did cross my mind that he could play it. It's
Mm-hmm.
got some really good matchups against a few decks that I had played on public. I've been playing public again. Um, and I said to myself, like, it's when he played QMC, I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I
Okay.
was happy that I picked Brigham
Mm-hmm.
because I think it matched up reasonable against it, and I think that if QMC does win, it's relatively small.
Okay. So again, we see you starting your kind of like the standard effects for this Brigham deck. Wipe them out,
Yeah,
all of
also I
them.
have other things. I like Wipe a lot because it synergizes with the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
You activate and if you've already grabbed a card or something, get to draw it right away. But I was certainly very happy to see Blastor controls in my opening hand.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and then the Vanna is good. That's a new addition I've added since Nationals. And then Forlom's always good, although I didn't. I think that I don't know if I played him that early in this game. And then I got the Vader, although the Vanna um, makes the having the Vader less
Mm-hmm.
important. And the Maul ship's nice with Force Push, probably being able to have a Maul ship fast. Like for instance, if I'm able to play Van A in a site and then turn two, I'm thinking at this stage of the game I might be able to play a turn two Maul against Herkseth with Blaster
Mm-hmm.
controlled and kill Herkseth.
Okay, and he's showing the keep your the Empire out forever, the Belt and Zai combo, and then Ancient Watering Hole.
Yeah,
Uh,
the watering hole was probably like his answer to like being able to blow me out, but it ends up being pretty nice that he has no walkling against the gut that's going to give him one icon,
mm-hmm. Okay, so let's
even if
sort of
it's competitive.
let's get into the game a little bit. Your first action, you go get the Emperor's Power.
Yeah, like pretty traditional stuff here, like get Emperor's Power. Um, my thought here is I'm certainly playing Van A for one,
Hmm.
and I probably want to play the Emperor, and then the Emperor's not in my deck, so he gets destroyed
Yeah.
by either way. It was a little awkward, but so because the Emperor's not in my deck, I want to use that force. So I decide to just play a Vader from hand. I have a backup one. Play the Vader from the castle,
Hmm.
and then I have the backup Vader in hand. So,
Yeah,
but
interesting.
and then I know that next turn I'll be able to play the Emperor and maybe force push for Maul. That was what I
Hmm.
was thinking if he goes a turn one Hark stuff. Playing the Vader also makes him have to either give me Leia or Luke on his turn one, so it kind of
Yeah.
takes his turn one away a little bit. Um, so one of the things that I wanted to play against Connor too was like pressure. I feel like one of the things that I've sacrificed a little bit in the last year or so is I used to sort of be the bully
Hmm.
in a lot of my games, putting people in stressful situations in a card game sense, obviously. And I've been sacrificing that a little bit recently with like more sort of traditional decks. And I used to
Hmm.
play really aggressive decks, which always had first strike, blast, or hunt down a lot of those. So I kind of wanted to get back into that realm.
Yeah, and notice that you're playing three different or two different Vaders. You were running Lord Vader as well as the
Yeah, I
Emperor's
did one
Enforcer.
Lord Vader for mains, and now that you have Vanna you in the castle, you can get to like toggle your
Hmm. And then
choice.
the Saber wasn't in there as well.
Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate. But what's cool about this is because I play Vanna to the other site. I've got two sites now.
Hmm.
So like my next turn, presumably he's going to play Battle Plan, so I can still get a Drain of two in, which is nice. Um, so the Vanna edition's been pretty cool.
And I like how you switched from. I know you were running at Nationals, the Endor Forest clearing, and you switched over to the Malachor site. Any reasons
Yeah.
for that?
Well, Vanna deploys for one.
Okay.
He runs Vader in game two. And I'm really fortunate to draw the Accelerate, which is sort of a pattern here. This happened a few times where the last card I drew was a really good card,
Hmm.
and I'd activated the bridge as well. So I know my next turn I'm gonna be able to get Palpatine and the bridge for my deck, which is pretty nice,
Yeah.
and Vader Saber. So I used a lot of things that I now have access to, which is always a nice thing.
And like
So
you
his
called it,
turn
yeah, I was going to say, like you called it, he gets out one of the sites and throws out the Luke.
throws out the Luke, and it's weird for him because he also has to play into the non-battleground. He's an extra force to move, or is that free movement? I forget, but
Yes, that's the free for movement site.
yeah, that actually not mattering. But it's just it sort of takes him off his turn. He could
Hmm.
have played um Herksef still, but if he does that, this game probably ends much earlier because I kill it on turn one with the Maul and Maul ship.
Hmm.
The one nice thing about the Brigham is that against decks like Diplo and UMC and stuff like that, where they're probably more well positioned against like Hunt Down or something like that, or at least they kind of know how the game sequences. Brigham can get those really fast space hands.
Hmm.
That was my OA. I was winning against OA prior to nationals, but that sort of leaked that my plan was to go to space really fast and kill the Falcons.
And there you go, draining. He had a second Luke in his hand. He also had what chance do we have? So,
Yep, it's putting me on shadow. So yeah, I got to drain. So you can see I get the Emperor, the Bridge, and the Saber this turn. I think I'm not sure if oh yeah. So um, I would have played Forlom, but I had activated um a Maul and the ship, the Star
hmm,
Destroyer. Maybe not a Maul. I'd activated. I know that
yeah, I think
there
you
was
activated the Star Destroyer, and then
there was something else that I was looking for, and there were five cards, and I used five cards, so I figured that I should draw some because either the ship or the other card, I forget what it was. I really don't remember what it was, but and then I'm gonna wait to Van A because I want to put the card back. It wasn't new, that wasn't all that special. I think I'd ended up using one of the. I feel like it was a Maul, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was First Strike. It was something that I sort of thought was going to be good for me.
And being that you
Um,
had the second ship in the hand, you could easily just lost that one to your objective.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it would seem like the best card to lose, and I like having the extra sevens. I don't want to get in the spot where I can't find one if I need to win the game late. It's happened
Hmm.
a few times. There's three Phantom Menaces, so I remember when I played this for nationals. A few times I had been able to win the game, but I just couldn't find a seven. So
Hmm.
you don't really want to pitch sevens. Um, and then so this turn at this stage, I'm thinking, okay, is he going to keep the ship up there or not? But it seems like he's pretty cognizant of
Hmm.
my space, so he doesn't. And um, he ends up flipping
Hmm.
and basically stacking all his guys at the 1-0. I think he plays one more guy as well.
Yeah, I think you're
Um,
right. I found it. I watched this game a little earlier, and I liked his play in the talls just for that
yeah,
extra
yeah,
alien. It was just a little odd, but I mean, a little different. Haven't seen one of those in a while.
yeah. Well, he's trying to get the five aliens.
Hmm.
This is 2 years in a row the OCS World. I'm playing against Talls and Talls. Actually, my Talls as well. So remember I point manned here just to get a seven down, another five. He grabs the point man, which is like whatever. This deck doesn't really have anything all that important to grab.
Hmm.
So it's like whatever. I'm pretty happy to see the Sidious, just like a good body. He's one of the better guys in the deck. And then I activate a bunch and I force push, and I'm looking for a spy because I
Hmm.
want to be able to attack that site. And saying Asard is there. Um, and I had the newt, so this is, I basically don't drain, or maybe I do drain because I have
Yeah,
enough force. Yeah, I drain the ones. I have enough force to play Sidious, Asane, and Newt.
yeah, and he loses Rose and the wild card, and then
So,
there you go
then he
with.
plays any force, and I'm thinking at this stage, kill some guys, kill at the very least, stack a card,
Hmm.
kill two guys, and that's two less for his species count. Um, Yeah, and that's it. I'm happy to interact with the chat if anybody wants to ask any questions.
Okay, you added Destiny with Gunray, but you don't add one with the Emperor's Power.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure there. Sometimes I sort of thought I was going to be able to leave him with one guy that I
Hmm.
could then fight. Like all his guys suck except for Herksef. So I don't know. Maybe I should have just unloaded here. I did think about it,
Hmm.
um, but it worked out well because I ended up drawing the seven first, which I would have lost for.
Yeah, and I know Joker King is in the chat. He's asking like, what's your plan for round two? Because I think he's your second round opponent, but you can ignore him.
I'll message him in a little bit, and we'll try to schedule something probably for midweek or something, or the next weekend.
Okay.
But I don't know. I try to just play right now, Joker Cat. I'd tell you if I knew.
Yeah, you draw the seven for the first Destiny, and then I think you draw a high as well for the second one.
Yeah, I think I draw a three. I think I draw Doctor
Yeah.
Malazan.
So it's your
Um,
20 right now to his seven in Destiny, but
yeah, so I get a stack, and more importantly, I get to kill three guys, including Herxa.
yeah, and he draws a one, so you didn't lose anything there.
I didn't lose anything. I mean, I was just gonna lose like a Sane anyway, but
Hmm.
it's definitely nice to, um, you know, at this stage, I'm feeling pretty good. And the other thing is he has five cards in hand, and he can obviously take one card every turn for himself.
Hmm.
But I feel like he's really on the back burner now. Like, and this is so that's two turns in a row now. I've drawn the last card, and it's been like a really
Yeah.
it's like dramatic. Like I don't have any cards in hand. And granted, I can I've got multiple cards to draw with the Palpatine, and I've got
Hmm.
four lines. But it's always nice when you draw a card, the card you want. Um,
So he then comes down with Leia, Rebel Princess, Rey, and the North Corridor. I mean, that's going to allow him to cancel one of the drains that you have on Cloud City. And then, but yeah, he
Yeah,
moves
I've got
everybody
them
over.
all. I've got them all. I've got the blast door. And I draw a card here. It's sort of useless Van. That's fine. So I'm losing force anyway. And then I'm activating a ton. So I'm not going to drain on Cloud City because of Leia. I don't really want him to get cards back into his life force.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only got 3 cards in hand, so I think this turn I just draw. I just drain for 2, and then I fight with Maul.
Yeah,
And
he
this is the
lost.
power of Maul right here. I mean, adds 1 to each of his destinies, and I'm going to hit someone.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little nervous about my destinies weren't great, so I was a little nervous about the female interrupt, but I figured going after um, Jedi Leia Rebel Princess was the best call.
Okay, so you get 4 Lum and put your Blizzard 4 back. I mean, Blizzard 4 really
Yeah,
not going to be.
Blizzard 4 back. I wasn't sure if I should get rid of Blizzard 4 or not,
Mm-hmm.
but
I mean, there's
I'm
only
actually
really
pretty
one
happy.
site that it could have went to.
Yeah, he like goes to the dog. Blizzard 4 is like not that great in this deck because now we have the interior sites.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was close to cutting it.
Okay, so you throw them all down by himself.
Throw him all by himself. Play the blast door.
This is just a recap tonight,
It's
Derek.
the full replay, Derek.
Yeah,
I did skip forward
this is the
this
entirety of game
game,
2. So
but
you fire the saber
we
at
played it
Rebel.
earlier and we couldn't get a screen. It was kind of a impromptu scheduling, Derek. But um, this is just my game replay. But this is an OCS playoff game. This is game 2 against Rebel.
And you draw the 5, and that 5.
He doesn't have the female interrupt. The Leia's here. There's no reason to sniper at this point. It doesn't give me any value. So I don't sniper. I figure I'm going to win the battle anyway. Because I'm basically, it's 9 to 9. Essentially, I'm drawing 2. I'm going to add 1 to each of mine.
Okay, he swings with Ray, draws Jar Jar's for his first Destiny, and then draws Rio. So that's a 6, and he misses hitting the Maul.
I mean, it doesn't do too much. It stops him from retrieving a force. Like, I'm going to win the battle. I'm going to lose Maul. Maul's not immune, so it doesn't do... Hitting doesn't do much other than him retrieving 1 with Ray, and I have Secret Plans out, so it's not that, like, big a deal that he missed.
Yep, and there's a 7 for Destiny.
Yeah, so I was certainly fortunate to, like, booze cards, and then...
Yeah, so you drew 10 for Destiny. That's going to clear him off the site.
Yeah, it clears him off the site. And at this stage, I'm feeling pretty good because I'm going to move my Vader over. He stacks another card. I can basically win 1 more battle to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not even really thinking about that now. I'm thinking I can go to space, or to keep draining. Leia Rebel Princess is off the table. I move both my Jedis over. And I'm thinking, like, next turn if he goes and tries to establish something else on the ground, I can just, like, pay 9 to drain for, the max amount.
Mm-hmm. I think at this point you're draining for 2, 2, and 2, so I think it's 6.
Yeah, I think I moved Sidious over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he concedes in the next turn. I'm not trying to spoil it, but this game was certainly in my favor from the Destiny draws, and also just like the texture of my hand. Like, I always had a guy to play. I had ships. I had the blast door. I never was really in any like, oh no, I don't have a good card to play. Like, you see, I have Tarkin in hand, and he's not like a really great card. And I never had to like play him. I always had the Maul. I drew the Sidious. And, a lot of the cards that I drew this game were like high quality. Yeah, I agree, Derek. I hope Tom's good. So this gets reverted. He's thinking about putting a pilot on the Overseer, and then I think he reverts because Overseer can only hold.
Yeah, I think it's the Overseer can only hold Harksef, I believe. Yeah, and at that point he does concede.
Yeah, and that's it. So definitely a matchup that I was happy that I loaded up Brigham against. It's kind of what you want to see because Brigham's about winning battles, and UMC isn't the best at fighting in the early stages anyway. So that's that.
Yeah, so I mean, you advance on to round two. You're going to be facing Joker King, who just upset Timo Dusel. How are you
Mm.
feeling about that matchup?
I mean, you just gotta play. Joker King's a cool guy, cool
Hmm.
cat. Um, Plays a lot online. Timo plays a lot too. I don't really. I'll say this. I've. This is my third playoffs. I didn't qualify the second year,
Okay.
but I always just sort of just play. Like I don't hyper fixate on. I don't overthink things. For instance, I loaded up this Brigham today, not thinking I was gonna play it against Dublin. Like I was like this morning, I was like, oh, Brigham could be cool. Let me try that.
Hmm.
Um, and I sort of looked at it, took maybe 20 minutes, sent a few messages to some friends, and was like, Steve and them, and said, what do you think? And they said, yeah, sure, go for it. And I was like, I was fired off. I'm not someone who's like, sort of, oh, I'm not doing the Princess Bride thing. You do it
Hmm.
a little bit by just, it's impossible to not do it at all. But um, I'm gonna play when I play Joker King. I'm just gonna play what I think is good as a good deck. Like I'm not gonna like overanalyze and be like I think he plays a lot of court. I'm not gonna well if he thinks I'm playing court, I'm gonna switch to something that's really good against court, and
Hmm.
then think that he's gonna switch off of it because I'll switch into it. Like I just whatever. Like let's just have some good games.
Yeah, I know Timo was having that problem for a little while. So.
I just don't see the value. And I know I've done it for worlds where I got too deep down the rabbit hole.
Hmm.
Um, and then you end up losing. I ended up losing a couple times to a bad matchup anyway. So it's like, well, if you're gonna have bad matchups, why go and try to sort of dilute? I think in 2008, I remember I had like Imperial Decree or something to my hunt down for as I was worried about EPO,
Okay.
and I was like, I remember I didn't do well at that tournament, and I was like, never again am I gonna play like stuff like that. So I'm trying to go back to just playing cards and seeing the game, thinking more about the game than the actual like the list doesn't have to be perfect. Just play good cards and the
Hmm.
chips fall within there.
Okay. Well, again, that was game two between Connor Britton and Justin Desai. Thanks, Justin, for giving us this and allowing us to do this tonight. And then we'll have a lot more OCS action later on this week. So stick around and stay tuned to the.
Yeah, if you want me to jump in for the Monday game, well, there's no games tomorrow, right? It's the next
There's no
one's on
games
Monday.
tomorrow, and then it's just Joe and Bastion on Monday.
No and Bash, and then fun. All right, take care.
Awesome. Take care, everybody.
All right, Dan, that was cool.